that they are being charged with selling snake oil that's coming out of the White House. We have a president that is more committed to selling fragrances than he is to telling the truth. And they are negotiating with this person about bending the knee to him rather than bending the knee to the constituents. And in our district, in every single district across this country, 85% of voters in every single district want Medicaid, want SNAP, want these programs that they are cutting. And these Republicans should be listening to their constituents. Earlier today, every single member of the Congressional Black Caucus stood up to ask for unanimous consent to strip away the amendments to Medicaid and SNAP. And Virginia Fox didn't even have the decency or the integrity to stand up with each request and deny it. She sat there like a tumor. But over 100 members led by the Congressional Black Caucus got up and raised the issue because Medicaid and SNAP are too important, not just to our communities, not just to our constituents, but to this country. This administration wants to separate us by race so they can divide us by class. But let me tell you something. If you cut Medicaid, you're going to close hospitals, you're going to close urgent cares, you're going to close community clinics. And folks, even if they get sick, when they get sick, they are going to show up to those places. And if they are open, it's going to cost everyone who doesn't have Medicaid more. Yeah. And if they do close, they are going to find their way to an emergency room near you and drive up your costs. So why don't we recognize that we're all connected? I'm going to tell you something. This administration is lying when they tell you they have a provision that says no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. Let me tell you something. It's not about zero taxes. It's a minor deduction. And I've been up for many long hours, so I'm a little fuzzy. But what I can tell you is his math is equally fuzzy. And it is so fuzzy and complicated that working folks who rely on tips, who rely on overtime, might only end up taking an additional $10 home. How is $10 going to help you? It's not, especially when the richest of the rich are getting tax breaks of up to $300,000. I had an amendment that say, if you really care about the working people, then make this tax cut permanent rather than temporary, only for the time that you're in office, Donald Trump. Yeah. But Republicans don't want to support that. Make no mistake, this bill is going to make America more sick, more broke, and more hungry, while the top 1%, 0.1%, walks away with over $300,000 in tax breaks every year. And the average American will take home less than $250. And $250 doesn't mean shit to somebody on a tight budget trying to decide how much of the utility bill can they pay, if they can pay all of the rent and buy all of the food and get the diapers and the incidentals and the emergencies that crop up. And Donald Trump doesn't know what it means to hope for an extra $250. It doesn't go very far when you have a family of 4 that you have to feed. I'm going to say it again. Over 85% of voters in every single district want Medicaid, want SNAP. And now the new provisions in the Senate version that we have to vote on will also cut into Medicare. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say this. Elections have consequences. And we are dealing with the consequences of what happened in 2024. But mean it when I tell you that the Black Caucus is turning into the receipt caucus, because we want everyone to know what is in this bill. We want everyone to know how they will be impacted. We want everyone to know how more broke, how more hungry, how more sick they are going to become. And we need to be holding these receipts up to and through 2026 and holding these Republicans accountable. Why aren't they here with balloons and megaphones touting how beautiful this thing is? Because they know it stinks, just like the cologne that they are selling in the White House.
Yes. Right.
I'm going to bring it back to Chair Clark to close.
Well, let me again just thank all of my colleagues. Their expertise, their understanding of what's in the big ugly is what we want to share with the American people. At this point, I want to open the floor to any of our reporters who have any questions. Yes, and just state your name and your outlet.
Michael Johnson, Once Upon a Hill. Thank you, Chair Clark, for doing this. The Senate added a $50 billion hospital fund for rural states and districts to mitigate some of the concerns that senators had about the cuts to Medicaid to their rural constituents. Obviously, there are a lot of health disparities that you all deal with in some of your suburban and urban districts and states. Can you just speak about how, are you concerned that those constituents will be left behind if the House is successful in passing this bill that includes this $50 billion rural
This is a very
fund?
dangerous bill. Yeah, they're going to try to sweeten the pot with all kinds of gimmicks. At the end of the day, rural, suburban, urban, all of our healthcare institutions are at peril under this bill. Mm-hmm.
But they wouldn't need it.
Oh, okay, hold on.
$50 million to address. $50 billion. $50 billion is still woefully short. When you talk about rural hospitals throughout the country, I will give you my home state as a test case. When I was in the state Senate, we expanded Medicaid. We instantly started opening rural hospitals. People started getting on the rolls. The same will be true in reverse. That $50 billion will not even scratch the surface throughout our entire country. It is nothing more than window dressing and used to allure and to entice those voters, those members of the Senate who had the courage for a moment to stand up. They've been thrown a little piece of red meat to sell out the rest of the country. It will not do the job. People will still die. Hospitals will still close.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you comment on, I saw the CBC did the Congo line, led the Congo line.
We did a conscience line.
I hear you. So are you going to do is there anything else you can do to delay this? Was that pretty much it under the rules of the House? Can you talk about that?
First of all, we will continue to protest what is taking place under the Trump administration. We will do everything within our power, within the procedures of the floor, to make sure that the American people are educated, informed, and understand where this harm is coming from. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle, as Congresswoman Kamala Duff has said, have been lying through their teeth to make sure that they can benefit the billionaire class in America. At the end of the day, the vast majority of Americans will be devastated if this bill were to pass.
But also, can I
Hold
just
on
say,
one moment. Joanna Hayes.
they're their own problem. We good. We've all voted. We're here. We're doing what we have to do. We got a procedural amendment, an easy vote. This isn't even the hard vote. That's been open for 103 minutes because they can't get their members to vote to add an amendment about debate. So the question, I guess, needs to be directed at them. They can't even, if this bill is as beautiful as you say it is, if you have a mandate and an assignment, then turn it in. We here. All these members have come back. Every Democrat is on record having voted. Tally, Democrats, 212. We're here. I don't understand how in between votes, they lose 20, 30 members and then have to rally them back. So we understand the assignment and we're here doing what we have to do. They're their own problem right now.
Let me tell you, I'm going to say this. we have to manage people's expectations. There are only certain tools in the toolbox, but one of the tools we do have is telling the truth. And the truth is every single person will be impacted if this bill is passed. And we know that he is twisting people's arms, but we also know that Medicaid, that health care fuels economies. And when you're cutting health